Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Deja Chaniah, and if you're new here on this channel, I share with you everything that I've learned from my time studying holistic medicine and also being in elite spaces like Brown University and various corporations to help you create what I find to be a soft, juicy, and successful life. So in this video, I will be sharing with you the number one marker of success that I've witnessed time and time again from different people in various environments, backgrounds, religions, countries, gender, race, whatever have you. There is one thing that shows up in people who are successful. So before I dive into it, let me take a sip of tea. It's a little lemon ginger. And let's begin. So maybe I should start again. Cut. I did need that tea though. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Deja Chaniah, and in this space, I share with you everything that will help you create your dream, soft, juicy, and successful life. The things that I share here are based on my experience studying holistic medicine, both in the Caribbean, where I was born and raised, and also with various teachers around the world, and in my time in elite high performing spaces such as Brown University and working with various corporations. So I like to merge the practical with the spiritual and really deliver a holistic approach for you and for my clients that I work with privately. Today, I would like to share with you the one thing that I have found is a marker of whether someone will be successful or not. And this one thing has remained consistent amongst people that I've encountered across various countries, various backgrounds, such as religion, skin color, gender, socioeconomic status. It literally does not matter. This has been a common thread. So before I dive into it, let me take a little sip of my tea. Mm. This is lemon ginger. And let's begin. So, I know that we're told that success looks a certain way. I want to get that out of the way. In the current world around us, we are told that success looks like achieving some sort of great feat. It looks like having a degree from a certain type of school. It looks like making a certain type of money, like whether it's through a specific channel or industry or a certain amount. It's through titles and recognitions and awards. And I believe that while those things can be indicative of success through the external world, success really is an embodiment of fulfillment. Somebody who feels fulfilled. They have their, yes, basic needs taken care of. I'm not saying don't try and, educate yourself or be great or get prosperity in your life, but success looks like people who, yes, they have their basic needs met, but there is some sort of fulfillment. There's some sort of self-actualization in their life that allows them to show up in a space where they feel taken care of, and then they're able to give to the world from their overflow. So a lot of people think it comes from those external things. When I have that degree, I'll feel safe and secure, and I can give to the world from my overflow. When I have this title, I'll feel safe and secure, and I'll be able to give to the world from my overflow. When I have this money, the same thing. However, That's not always the case. So I just want to set the tone for that because I've met people with what looks like a quote unquote dream life, and it might be to someone, yet they feel deeply unfulfilled. So you wouldn't call them successful. And I've also met people who have a dream life, what it looks like in this modern world, and they do feel fulfilled. So I would deem them successful. Same as people who are living a totally what we would call a humble life, whether they feel fulfilled or not, like that is a really great measure of success I found. But that's not the answer either. I think fulfillment is a part of success, but it's not really a marker of whether someone will be successful. And that marker really is identity. So this is all about your mindset and your nervous system getting on board, and also the embodiment that you move through the world with. And the reason I say identity is because when you have created a certain identity, it informs how you show up. It informs everything that you do. So if your identity is rooted in the pain that you've experienced, your traumas, your stress, everything that you feel like is stacked against you, no matter what resources and privileges you may or may not have at your disposal, you will move through the world as someone who is disadvantaged. And you know what disadvantaged people do not do? They do not become successful. They do not feel fulfillment because the identity around being disadvantaged is an identity of feeling fearful. It's an identity of feeling lack. It's an identity of feeling like you have to protect yourself because everything is against you. And I've met people with this identity of feeling disadvantaged on various ends of the spectrum. There are people I know with trust funds who have been like, oh, my parents didn't show up in this way, or I didn't look like this, or whatever. Their identity is being disadvantaged. I know of people who really grew up in like horrific conditions, war, famine, poverty, and their identity was of someone who is disadvantaged. And I've also met people, the middle of the road, who, for whatever reason, because of things that they experienced, their identity was of someone who is disadvantaged. So it is this identity that really informs how you show up in the world. And it really can determine how your life will play out, no matter what opportunities you may have, no matter what privileges that are afforded to you. I'm going to pause here, sip some more tea. Now, I chatted in an earlier video, I'll link it here, on the fact that everybody has privilege and you just need to figure out what yours is and how to use it. And I feel like the people who formulate their identity around the fact that they have gifts and blessings and privileges that are natural to them, they are more likely to be successful than anyone else. And I've met people that have this identity, that have had everything handed to them on a silver spoon. And I've met people who have this identity and they grew up in the most humble of conditions. And all of these people have found a path to success that looks fulfilling to them. And it is really interesting. I'm not going to say that everything is about your mind too, because identity is more than just thinking, I'm this person and that's it. But identity, to really truly accept an identity and to really have this work for you, there has to be a level of embodiment. Embodiment meaning this is a lived experience. It is rooted in your body. You feel safe and secure around it. Your nervous system is attuned to this identity. So it may be easier for some people to create and cultivate and maintain an identity of being privileged and blessed and favored if they have already seen in their external reality that they have everything they could ever want or need, and people are affirming it to them. However, you don't always need that. And I know this from personal experience. I grew up in pretty humble conditions. My grandparents on both sides own land and, grew a lot of their own food. And that in and of itself is wealth. I feel like one of the biggest markers of wealth worldwide is owning land, because without it, then you don't really own anything. You don't own a home, you don't own the means to your production, if that's what you choose. You don't own where your food is coming from. That's just my personal thing. But um, in the context of like Western society, we didn't have much, and it would be really a blessing if I just simply graduated high school. That's the sort of community I come from. People graduate high school and then they go and like make babies and settle down, and that's it, which works for some people. I knew I wanted something different. And I knew that I needed to feel successful and I needed to feel fulfilled through different things. That's just what I thought. I knew I wanted to get a degree and to travel and to see the world. So, despite the fact that I did not see that around me, I created an identity where that was the case. And I know you're going to say it sounds delusional, and it is. There is some truth to these phrases, fake it till you make it, or your delulu is the salulu, like the girlies on TikTok say. You have to be a little delusional to create an identity that does not reflect the world that you see around you. When you want to create a different life than what is present in your environment, you have to be a little delusional. You do. And it's not just delusional as dreaming about it, but you have to take the initiative of sitting back in your body, first visualizing what that looks like, and creating this loop of emotions, of visualizations, of sensations of someone who has that identity so that it feels normal to you. And then you show up day in and day out, no matter what, taking steps as though you are someone with that identity. I'm not saying to be reckless and maybe your identity is, oh, I am going to be someone, or I am someone who has a multi-million dollar company. If you're making minimum wage, it doesn't make sense for that identity to manifest in you going out and buying a sports car. That doesn't make sense. But you can understand, okay, I may be in a certain position. This is my identity. Someone who has a multi-million dollar business would take a portion of whatever they earn and save it, and then another portion and invest it. So, baby steps. And this is also something I tell to my clients, that your identity is the greatest marker of your success, not just in the external world, because these are all very ambitious and highly successful women. They own their own businesses, they have PhDs, they're professors, they work for the federal government, they're managers, they're supervisors, they're VPs, like they're doing great things. But I tell them when they get into my programs, you are going to heal, you are going to succeed in the self development world if you change your identity. A lot of them come to me because they feel unfulfilled, burnt out. They feel some sort of what I was talking about in the beginning. They don't feel fulfilled, even though they have all of these external markers of what people would see as success in their life. So I tell them the only way that you are actually going to get what you need from this program is if you change your identity. And it works for some women and it doesn't work for others because of this very thing. The ones who do not shift their identity continue to identify with being overworked, underpaid, burnt out. They don't have time to take care of themselves. So even when they choose to pay big money to be in a program with someone like me holding them accountable to their goals, even when I provide things like master classes and live calls and modules and journals and meditations and yoga flows and EFT tapping and all of the things that I can to help them get their health and wellness back on track, they don't show up. Because you cannot show up to take care of yourself if your identity is of someone who is not being taken care of. It sounds so simple, but these women will have everything given for them. All you have to do is log into an app, press play, boom, you have it there. It tells you what to do. But if that identity is not congruent with someone who is healthy and well, then they don't find success in the programs. And on the other hand, the women who find success in the programs, who not only take control of their health and wellness and heal their hormones, some of my clients, even in a program, they get pregnant and their fertility is restored. One of my clients recently uh, went into remission from cancer, partially because she did cancer treatments with her doctor, but also because she changed her diet and the way that she took care of herself through things in her program. The women who get these successes decide, okay, the way I was operating before wasn't helpful. It wasn't getting me to where I want to go. So they decided, what if I just change my identity? What if I decided to quote unquote delude myself and tell myself that I was all of these things that I want to be, that I dream of being, that I know I am underneath all the BS, and show up that way? These are the women who get on. These are the women who get on the calls. These are the women. I don't know. I'm making this false plural women's who meditate every day. They do the EFT tapping. They change their diet, right? They start eating foods that are actually nourishing them instead of that are convenient and fast. And I'm not saying don't treat yourself, right? Like you can indulge, but it can't be every day. It's poison. These are the women who take a moment when they're feeling overwhelmed or triggered to slow down, to do deep breathing, to shake stress and trauma out of their body. These are the women that decide that no matter what their external world looks like, they are happy, they are healthy, and they have that soft, juicy, successful life. And they make a change. And not only does that change take place in the program. But I have women who message me years later. They're like, I still take all of these practices with me wherever I go. I choose to start my morning this way. I choose to do this before bed. I chose to implement this herbal protocol, or I still follow this recipe that you gave me. And it makes my life feel so much better. And then they tell me about the external things that have happened too. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because when you shift your identity, your entire world will eventually catch up to that. You go first, though. You decide, you do the work, and then God, the universe, the frequencies all conspire to create what you have already decided. Then it becomes the material world, then it becomes your reality. So that is all that I have for you today. I hope that it encouraged you to think differently about success and what fulfillment really means to you. And let me know below, what identity have you been holding up until this point? Is it helping you? Is it hurting you? What's going on there? And what identity shift do you need to make in order to get where you want to go? As always, if you're ready for coaching, you can apply below. If we are a match, and if only we are a match, then someone from my team will reach out. But we want to make sure that there is resonance. Not everyone is meant for our programs, and that's okay. So click that link, explore the application, really take your time in order to be honest and to reflect about your journey. And that will give us the greatest indication of your energy and whether it aligns. And for the rest of you, like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, and I will see you in the next